Would you believe it? He refused to say anything. One way or the other. He just stalked out of the room.
Am I hearing you correctly? You're saying that your company paid for Laurie Davidson's operation?
That's right. As a loan to Russ Weaver.
So Russ Weaver owes you $25,000. Now, how's he ever going to pay that back?
Well, you see, that's the beautiful part about it. Because he refused to work for us, he's probably going to have to borrow the money from Scott Davidson.
Oh, great. So then Scott Davidson will really be obligated to you. That's marvelous.
I'm quite sure he never expected that would happen.
The wheels turn and turn. But somehow I knew we'd find a way to make them squirm. Daddy, you're a genius.
Well, now, it wasn't my idea, really, at all.
Well, whose then?
Well, I have to give credit to Vince Cardello. You see, when Russ called asking for help, the loan kind of evolved out of that. And I have to admit again, Vince is really very tough and very shrewd at getting what he wants out of people like Russ.
What could Russ do for Capital Distributors? Just drive a truck?
Oh, my, no, he's much too bright to waste behind a wheel. I think Nick intended to break him in as a salesman. More promotions, more money. He's a natural.
And still he refused.
Yeah, well, that's really the laugh.
Why do you say that?
Well, you see, either way, I don't think Capital is going to lose at all. I'd like to see him take a job with us. It would be good for the firm. All-American football player, good-looking, well-known, all plus business factors when it comes to bringing in new business. And can you imagine what that would do to Scott Davidson?
Oh, yes, it certainly would shake him up to think that his future son-in-law might be somehow connected with Vince Cardello, Nick Trench, and last but not least, Charles Carpenter.
It would also make him reconsider about what he features on that news show of his, too.
But if Russ tries to pay back the money, he has to borrow from Scott Davidson.
Well, of course. Who else does he know that has money like that?
So he's in a no-win situation. Meanwhile, you and Vince can't lose. Lovely.
Yeah, it's a checkmate situation. I must admit again, my partner is an excellent businessman.
If Russ marries me right now, he could be sentenced to a life of pushing a wheelchair. I'd be nothing but a burden to him.
No, that's not true, honey. All the doctor said you're going to fully recover.
They're only guessing.
They have cases like yours in here all the time. Now, this is the first time you've been here.
And never again. I hate this place. The hospital smell, the noises, the people moaning all night.
What a cheerful bundle you are. I dash in here to visit you before going to work, and all you do is gripe. Is this why I missed breakfast?
Yeah, breakfast, try that. How can they manage to make wallpaper paste out of scrambled eggs?
I don't know. Did you talk to your nursing supervisor?
That's another thing. The nurses. They're all so bossy. Talk, talk, talk. Wake up. It's time for your sleeping pill. I feel like a rag doll. They feed pills to me, stick needles in me, and tell me I'm doing fine. Well, I don't feel fine. I want to go home. I don't want to stay here anymore. Take me home. Please.
I knew it. My little girl's getting homesick. That's a good sign.
Daddy.
Don't you see? You're getting well. Yes, really. Now, you remember when you were 6 years old? You had your tonsils out?
Yes, and that was awful, too.
As soon as you started yelling about the hospital and throwing your breakfast tray all over the place, we knew you were improving. Now, here we go again.
Oh, darn you anyway.
Me, what did I do?
I felt like having a good tantrum, and now you've talked me out of it.
Well, go ahead and have one. Scream, holler, tear your hair out. But one thing, the minute you start, I'm going to leave and not admit to anyone that I even know you.
No, don't go. I'll be good.
Promise?
Promise.
And cheerful.
And cheerful.
Deal.
Oh, Daddy, you always make me feel better, especially when I don't feel good.
Well, maybe that's what fathers are for.
Well, it sure takes a long time to raise a good father.
Well, keep trying. Maybe one of these days you'll make it. I know you're restless and impatient right now, and I know why. But this too will pass. Don't forget that.
I know you're right, Daddy. But I keep asking myself, why me? I mean, why did this have to happen just at the moment where Russ was right there? I don't understand.
Who's to say what's in store for us? It's a question that can't always be answered right away.
What do you mean?
Look, the accident happened, and it's over. There's nothing we can do about that. You'd better be focusing your attention and your energies on today, right now. You're alive, and you're going to be well. You don't have to look over your shoulder with anxiety or fear. What happens in our lives always happens for the best, though we may not know that right away. God knows what he's doing, honey. And somehow, there's going to be some good that comes out of this, or he wouldn't have allowed it to happen in the first place.
Oh, I know you're right, Daddy. And Russ. I have to thank Russ for being so patient and putting up with me.
He's a very courageous young man.
Becky called me last night. She's very worried about him.
Oh?
They went out for a bite. And I guess he's in pretty deep for Dr. Melville's fee. Did you know anything about that?
Not really. It's not too hard to figure out. Did he say anything about how much was involved?
No. Russ made her promise not to tell. She only said that the figure was higher than she can count.
Well, he may keep a secret from some people, but sooner or later he's going to have to tell me. Funny thing. Peter said something about him playing professional football
What?
to pay off his bill.
Oh, no. Not if I have anything to say about it. One cripple in the family's enough.
Now, just a minute. There you go again, young lady. Anyway, Peter said that he was all excited. Said something about getting into the football games free.
Peter's so gross. I don't believe him sometimes.
He also thinks he borrowed money from the mob.
And smart for his age. Peter might be right. He might just be right.
Oh, I'm late again. Bye, Mrs. Cummings. Bye, Mom. Bye, Mrs. Cummings.
What was that? O.J. Simpson catching an airplane?
Well, nothing quite so glamorous as that, I'm afraid. No, it's just Peter, about 3 minutes behind schedule.
Oh, well, it looks to me like he's catching up fast.
Come on in and sit down.
Okay.
It's good to see you again.
Oh, you too,
It's
Terry.
been a long time, hasn't it? How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I just thought that I'd tell you how happy I am to hear about Laurie's recovery.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Yeah, we're pretty thrilled about it, of course.
I ran into one of the scrub nurses at the grocery store, and she said there's no damage to the spinal cord.
Yes. That is just about the most exciting piece of news I have ever heard. When Laurie called out to me and showed me that she could wiggle her toes, well, Liz, I just about fell apart. I started to cry, and then I ran for the phone to try to reach Scott. And when I was on the phone, I was so excited I couldn't even get all the words out. And he kept saying, "What? What?"
Just hearing you tell about it makes me all misty-eyed.
Well, enough about that. Please forgive me for not having called you for the last 3 days, but the accident has kept me so busy. How are you and Jeff getting along? Better, I hope.
Well, I honestly wish that I could say yes, but things have been quieter, at least, with him away from home so much, traveling in his new job.
I see.
I wouldn't mind it, except I'm sure that he's taking that woman with him on his trips.
Now, Liz, don't torture yourself again with suspicions.
Well, it's not a real marriage. I don't know what to do. I don't think that I can sit around and play housewife much longer. My mind is spinning, trying to tell me which way to go and what to do. Should I take a job, put Jenny in some daycare place, file for divorce, run away to a strange city? I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if this is the way people feel before they go mad.
Has Jeff been drinking lately?
Well, not as much as before, only at night. Something else is bothering him.
About his job?
Well, I don't think so. He's pretty secure about that. It seems to be some kind of fear. Jeff has always been so cocky, you know, almost foolhardy as long as I've known him. And now he's jumpy and nervous. He was even too frightened to report a dented fender in a rented car. He insisted that he fix it himself instead of telling his boss. Doesn't that seem strange to you?
Well, not really. I mean, imagine going into your new boss on your new job and telling him that you damaged the company car. It certainly wouldn't make for a very good first impression.
It didn't make sense to me. But I didn't say anything to him about it. There's no talking to him about almost anything anymore.
Is there anyone you can talk to about your situation? Maybe your parents?
Interesting you should say that. I already decided to take Jenny to my parents' home this weekend.
Now, that's a good first step, I think.
I don't know, Terry. I know exactly what they'll say. They'll just tell me that the marriage is dead and that Jeff's not the same man that I thought he was when I married him. Sort of, we told you so.
Sometimes, Liz, parents are right.
I know. How well I know.
Norm is right on our tail. We can't get away from him. Slow down. Nobody tells me what to do. Shut up. Norman, wise up. He's going to bust us.
What's the matter with you guys? Are you crazy or something?
Nobody calls me crazy, buddy.
Snap out of it, Norman. What's the matter with you?
Hey, it's all right, officer. He's okay now.
What kind of nuts they got driving the highways these days?
What's the matter? What happened?
I'm gonna run you in.
No, please, it's okay. See, he just got back from fighting the war. Sometimes he has these bad attacks.
Oh, yeah? A veteran, huh?
Yeah, look, don't run us in, huh? I'll drive the rest of the way back. You want to see my license?
No. Just get this heap out of here before I lose my temper.
Right. Thank you, sir. Hey, come on, get over, get over.
Man, just when you think you've seen it all. Wait a minute. What war?
Of course I can do it, Mr.
Cummings, Jeff Cummings.
The thing I don't understand is this is a rental. Why don't you take it back and let them fix it? I mean, I got to charge you, you know, so why bother with the deck cover?
Yeah, I know, but you don't understand. I'm doing the job. I don't want my boss to get me in trouble. You know what I mean?
Well, what boss?
I work for Capital Distributors.
Oh, yeah? It's a big outfit. You think they're going to worry about some rinky-dink dinner fender?
Never mind all that. Just tell me how much it could cost to fix it up good, like new.
It'll cost you $250. But I'll make it so smooth you won't even see a ripple. You're going to have to leave it here for a couple days, though, okay?
Yeah, all right, go ahead and fix it. Look, when it's done, give me a call at the Roanoke Regency. You got it?
Gotcha. Mr. Cummings,
Yeah?
how you going to get around?
A rental, what else?
Yeah. Too bad I don't have a courtesy car. You want to rent my pickup?
No, I don't want to rent your truck. Just fix the car, that's all.
Well, fine. You, come charging in here, babbling on and on about the war and the gooks, and you can't even explain what's going on? I think I've had about enough. Finish your little drink, please. I've got another appointment.
Oh, no, you don't. Not that easy. You don't throw me out.
Don't be silly, Norman. I didn't know you were coming over. That's why I have a dinner date, and he'll be arriving any minute.
Who's he?
Norman, what right do you have to ask that?
Okay, all right, then I'll wait right here.
Norman, dear, that wouldn't be very good for you. You see, I'm having dinner with Nick Trench, and he wouldn't appreciate your hanging around here.
I see. You told him about us?
There is no us, Norman. You're free, I'm free, and let's just keep it like that. I don't ask you to report in to me, tell me where you've been and where you're going, and I expect the same consideration from you.
All right. So you want to date somebody else once in a while, all right. But you better not turn me off, Min. I don't have to take that, you understand?
Norman, please, don't do anything rash. We can still be friends.
I'm warning you, I don't like to be pressured. You know that. I don't know what I might do.
Scott, dinner. Honey, didn't you hear me?
Did I do it again?
You certainly did.
Concentration, they call it.
I see by that wrinkled brow that it's also something called worry. Now, what is it this time? Or would you rather wait until we eat dinner?
Oh, I'd rather do it now. That way I can concentrate on dinner. I stopped by to see Alex Greeley today. He was rather reluctant to tell me something, but he finally did. Dr. Melville's fee was paid by Nick Trench.
Nick Trench. Trench. Oh, isn't he the one who's with Capital Distributors? The one whose name is in the papers all the time?
He's the one, and he's got an arrest record as long as my arm. Now, why did he come up with the money to pay Dr. Melville's fee? There's something else in my mind. I told you that Peter said that only professional football players and the mob have that kind of money. You know, when I mentioned that to Lori, you know what she said? Peter could be right.
What are you leading up to?
Well, Lori and Becky tell me that they're both certain that Russ borrowed a lot of money. Now, the main question is, did Russ borrow this from a gangster friend, someone connected with the mob?
Oh, no.
Now, there's no question that Capital Distributors is connected with the mob. It may be even owned and totally operated by them. Nick Trench is well known to the police.
Now, wait a minute. That's the same company that Jeff works for.
So in a way, both Russ and Jeff are working for, or are at least connected with, both Trench and Capital Distributors.
But what does that mean?
I don't know, honey, but I'm going to find out.
I can't imagine Russ getting involved with anything shady, can you?
Well, after 25 years breaking news stories, nothing seems impossible to me anymore. What worries me the most is that Russ might have been trapped into getting involved because of Lori's accident.
I see.
Do you really, honey? Because if that's what happened, we're involved, too.
Whether he's an associate of mine is not the issue. I'm simply trying to tell you he's not of our social class. He doesn't have your background, your education.
Father, you just can't measure everything in life by what we used to have in Lake Forest. Nick is exciting. He knows people who are interesting and alive. And believe me, around here, that's as refreshing as a cold shower.
I'm simply trying to point out that I think it would be a big mistake for you to get serious about anyone like Nick Trench.
Well, Father, I have to do something, don't I? I can't just sit inside these four walls all day and memorize the light fixtures. Nick takes me to interesting places, places I've never even heard of before. I love going on his yacht, having lunch at some small, out-of-the-way marina. He's fun to be with. Besides, he knows everybody who's anybody.
That's because of his position at Capitol. And those so-called influential people you like to meet and have lunch with, there isn't one of them that cares anything at all about Nick Trench as a person. None whatsoever.
Father, you're being unkind. He's a very nice man.
That's because of his association with Cardello Enterprises. Nothing more, nothing less.
I don't know anything about that.
No, you certainly don't, and I think it's time you found out.
Daddy, is this one of those morality lectures?
Now listen, don't get snippy with me. These are very simple facts, and I think you should be very much aware of them. Capital Distributors and Cardello Enterprises are both very successful and very powerful organizations, and they didn't become profitable by being humanitarian. And anyone who works for them has to be tough and shrewd, capable of doing anything in order to further their goals, and I mean anything.
What are you saying? They're criminals?
No, not really. Maybe a little in the past. But they are the toughest businessmen you'll ever run into. They have to be, or they wouldn't be allowed to survive, and only the strong survive.
That's exactly what I find fascinating, don't you?
Yes, it is exciting, and I have to admit it's invigorating, but don't forget, I've been in business for a long time. I learned how to survive. But you, Mem, up until a couple of months ago, you've just been a housewife. You have a lot to learn about the world and men. There's Mr. Trench.
Well, you're right, Father. I do have a lot to learn. And Nick Trench is the best teacher I can think of. See you later.